Hello everyone, it's Shel C from PaperOcotilloStudio. It's day 26 of October 2020 and this is my page for hashtag AJ Snark Attack 2020. This is a month-long challenge from Art Joy of Sharing Art Community on Facebook. You can ask to join. There's a link below the video. Just make sure that you answer the questions when you ask to join. Today I felt like drawing and coloring. And so I decided to make you a page of what I did all weekend, exclusively what I did all weekend. Some of you who've been following me closely might wonder what happened to my day 25 and day 24 art journal pages for this daily art journal challenge with the snarky sayings. They didn't get done because I didn't feel like it. Didn't feel like it at all. And this is free content on YouTube, and if I didn't feel like it, I didn't feel like I needed to. So, I feel slightly guilty, but then I just have to say to myself, sometimes you just don't feel like it, and it's not going to happen. And I don't want to put something super ugly up as a video, if it doesn't work out, and yeah. So this is what I did. I'm giving you an illustration of what I did all weekend. So I am drawing in a regular drawing pencil. This is a graphite drawing pencil. I have a white plastic eraser. I did not draw this in ink. Once you've drawn something in ink, you're committed, completely committed. Sometimes I do that if I feel confident in the forms that I'm drawing and I feel like I know exactly what's going to happen if I get that permanent pen out and draw with it. Today I was not feeling confident in my forms. I was not feeling confident in anything. So I decided to draw in pencil and then go over it with pen. Which, maybe that's a cop-out. I don't know, but that's how it went. So unfortunately, I encountered this very poorly placed crease in the middle of my book as I was drawing along, and I was not going to erase the entire thing and start over. I just decided to go with it. This is a drawing, an illustration in an art journal that's never going to be seen. I mean, you guys are watching the video. I have the art journal, but it'll be closed and I won't see it again. It's not like it's going to be critiqued in a juried show or put up in a museum. It's just an art journal. And that is how we treat our art journals. It is practice. It is stress relief. It is art therapy. It is sometimes writing your feelings and just getting out your feelings. The art journal can be any of those things. That's what it's for. If I totally loved this drawing and I thought it was awesome, I could redo it on something that's more permanent that I could hang up on the wall. But art journaling is by its nature meant to be a tool to practice, to get your thoughts out, to get ideas. That's what it's for. So those are the reasons I didn't erase it and move the person over a little bit so that her face wouldn't be split by the unfortunate crease in the middle of the book. It's just how it goes. So I went over it with a brush marker from my Faber-Castell Pitt pens set for illustration. It has multiple nibs in it, and when I'm illustrating I like to use different ones to make it more dynamic. This time I just did almost the entire thing in the brush, but the brush can be made thicker or thinner. You can make the line thicker or thinner depending on how you press on it. And then I got out just a medium bullet nib to do some of the finer details like the face. It was hard to do that eye on the right hand side if you're facing it because it was in the crease, but I think you can still see it. It was just a pain in the tail. So then I got out something new. This was a brand new set of Lucas brand gouache. Gouache is a paint that is a water soluble paint. It's like a watercolor, but it's opaque. or it's almost all the colors are opaque. And you can see this as I'm painting, as I go over the black lines. It pretty much it doesn't cover the black lines, but it's it's not watercolor. Watercolor is translucent. Every single type of watercolor, no matter what it is translucent. If you get a white color that is they say is a watercolor, it's actually gouache. It's not, you know, white is often opaque, but it's not watercolor, because if you had a white watercolor, then what would you have on a white piece of paper? You would have nothing, right? You wouldn't do anything. So I put all the colors of the gouache out on this hard plastic palette. I can't remember. There's probably 12 colors maybe. With these colors, I can make any color I want. That's the nature of paint. You can mix it together. And so I'm just messing around with it. I found it quite satisfying. It's chalky. It's I imagine that by making it opaque, they're putting some type of a filler in it. And that filler makes the paint matte and chalky. And so I could go over it, which what I did is go over it with colored pencils very easily. The color pencil just glides on it. It's nice. Um, my mother was an elementary teacher as I was growing up, and I always had lots of art supplies. And one thing that I had that was something that was a favorite of mine to play with was a set of tempera paint. And it had these little cakes in it in probably, I don't know, 8 colors. There was a black and white, a brown, I don't know, but there was a whole set. And at holiday times like Halloween, I would paint on the our big windows. We had kind of a mid-century style house that had big windows in the front, and I would paint Halloween scenes on the window, and for decorations with tempera paint. This paint reminds me of tempera paint. My tempera paint wasn't liquid when it wasn't in a tube, but she did have some for the kids that was liquid, that was in like these big bottles, but mine were cake paints. This reminds me of that a lot. So I'm going to have to look it up. What is the difference between gouache and tempera paint, or is it the same thing? I would guess that maybe tempera paint is made for children and is probably cheap quality, low cost materials, and maybe gouache is more of the higher quality. Like this is a Lucas brand, which is not cheap. That's not a low quality brand. Some of my nice watercolors that I have are Lucas. So I don't know, mid range maybe. But yeah, I haven't really. I guess I had some metallic gouache maybe that I've tried before. It was like a shimmery metallic paint. I've maybe used it once or twice, but I hadn't used this set, and I think I'm a fan. I think I think this could be blended on the page because it's water soluble. You could blend two colors together. I wasn't trying to do that. I was blending it on the palette to make the colors and then painting it. But I think I could put another color over the color and then blend them together, um, like you would a watercolor. It's similar but different, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But I had fun with it. And I wasn't trying to do highlights and shadows and everything with the paint because I intended to go over the top of it anyway. So, yeah, I used a small round watercolor brush. I have a couple containers of water that I'm using clean water from the clean water and then rinsing my brush in the other one to get the paint out as I switch colors. So that's why my hand keeps going to the left. The water's over there. You can't see it on the screen because I have it zoomed in. So I've made a person sitting on a couch with a cup of tea and a remote control and her dog. And she is chilling and watching Netflix all day long. And that's all she wants to do. That's it. She might have had to get up and cook. She might have had to maybe, uh, you know, talk to a couple people briefly. But mostly she sat on the couch with her dog and watched Netflix and drank tea all weekend. That's where I was. That's it. That's where I was. Didn't go in the studio at all. Didn't do anything much at all. I guess on Friday I went for a little short hike with my dog and my kid, and that was Friday. I think I made a page on Friday though. I'm not sure. I'm not even sure at this point. It is hard to make a page every day, and I have noticed that there's really pretty low participation in this challenge this month. We have had other challenges that had a lot of people participating. I think that this one just overwhelmed people and they just can't do it. So I'm not alone in my lack of wanting to do anything. I try to force myself to do it, but when you try to force yourself to do art, you hate the art. It becomes a job or a responsibility instead of a fun playtime like it's supposed to be. So if you're not feeling it, and I know a lot of you aren't because there hasn't been a whole lot of participation in this challenge, don't worry about it. Don't stress over it. Just, it is what it is. But it's been fun otherwise. And there are some great pages out there that people have made. So please search the hashtag AJ Snark Attack 2020. Peg has some videos. I have some videos. And then there are a lot of shared pages out there in the group on Instagram, on Facebook, those type of places. So if the person tagged it with that hashtag, you'll be able to find it and you can see it. And there's some pretty funny ones. Um, People had all different types of snarky quotes, not just the ones that I put on the page. So there's some funny pages out there. A lot of collage, some drawing, a lot of mixed media. It's pretty fun. The people who did participate participated well. That's what we'll say. So now I've got out my colored pencils. This is my Arteza colored pencil set. They sent me this in exchange for making a video a while ago, and they also sent me the zipper case, so I have them all in this big, nice zipper case, and it is a large set of pencils. I don't know how many it was, but there's a lot of pencils. So I was able to pull out pencils, do some shading, and then I'm using the black pencil to go back over the lines where the gouache paint covered them up because, like I said, it is an opaque paint. So it ends up looking like a pencil drawing rather than an ink drawing because the ink got, covered up a little bit, which is cool. I like how it turned out. There's my dog Mika. She's a Pomchi. It's not a very great representation. She's a lot cuter than that. And my favorite color is purple. Purple sweatpants, purple long sleeve tee. I don't wear shoes unless I have to. So I guess it's a self-portrait, although I'm not as svelte as this person. I'm thicker than that. But it's a whole nother story. This is how I see myself. Self-portraits are how you see yourself, not how it actually is. And if you can be in enough denial to think that you're thinner than you are, even though you know it's not true, then you can make a skinny self-portrait and not feel bad about it. It's the idea of me, not necessarily an exact replica. So I'm using the pencils to do shadows, add extra color in, and since I have so many different colors of pencils, I could use different ones. It was a lot of fun. So it's a fun technique, colored pencil over gouache. I have another big, gigantic set of colored pencils that's from, who makes the colored pencils? The nice ones. It's not coming to me right now, but you guys probably all know. that I never use. And it's got like 60 or 80 pencils in it. So I just grabbed these artisan ones because they were there on the floor waiting for me to use them. I must have used them for something else. I don't remember. But they were still not put away. So they're the ones that got out. And they worked great. They were perfect for this. So I'm trying to do her face. It's pretty tiny. Not a lot of opportunity to do a lot with it, especially with that big, unfortunate crease. Do a little bit of shading on the dog. I don't think that Pomchi is necessarily a designer dog. I think that she just, she's a rescue. So I don't know actually where she came from, but she definitely has the Chihuahua features and the Pomeranian features of color and the really thick ruff around the neck. And the papers that I got with her, the different veterinarians, one said they thought she was a Chihuahua, long hair Chihuahua, and the other one said they thought she was a Pomeranian mix. So I'm just going to call her a Pomchi. Yep. Sounds like palm tree. So now I'm just kind of filling back in the illustration lines in the scene outside. I guess this scene wasn't the right representation. I should have made cactuses. But my studio overlooks a wash, and there are some trees out in the wash. And it's been raining, so it's looking kind of green out there. It's really overcast and rainy today. So I'm just about done with the pencil and moving on to the next thing that I did. I'm putting the pencils away very soon. Made her have blue eyes. A little bit of brown in the dog's eyes. Oh, yeah, I wanted some texture on my pillows. So I used the pencils to make some texture, kind of tone on tone over the pillows to make them a little bit more interesting. And the shading color I used over the gray couch is actually a dark purple, and it looks pretty cool. I wanted to warm it up a little bit. I could have went more crazy. I could have spent even more time shading and highlighting, but I wasn't going to commit to more than 2 hours, which is about how long this took me. So this is my new favorite tool right here. I've used it on the last 3 pages. I think maybe at least 3 pages in this book. I've used this pencil. It is a Stabilo Woody. The Stabilos are those pencils that are really water soluble, water reactive, but I've just been using it like a kind of like a crayon, and it's a fat white crayon basically, and I'm hoping that I can buy this one white one independently. I have the whole set of them, and I'm just in love with this fat white pencil. I think it's just fun to do highlights with it. It's overtaking my, okay, it's not overtaking my white Posca pen, but in the last few instances that I've made, I think I've used it a lot. I guess the one before this was Posca, but the one before that had the white Stabilo, and the one before that had the white Stabilo. So Stabilo Woodies, a lot of fun. I'm putting on the words now. She believed she could, but her dog was asleep on her lap, so she didn't. Thanks for watching, guys. Please give me a thumbs up. Leave me a comment or question below. Subscribe. Turn on your notification bell. Share. Please support free content on YouTube by doing all those things. That's it for me. Thanks. Bye-bye.